town? Anything that you might want to talk to us about?
Everything. No, really, in my mind, when Dick asked me if I would come over tonight, I picked three buildings that I thought were the most interesting buildings in this part of the town itself. The room and the building we're sitting in at the moment, at the courthouse, was many things other than a courthouse in its time. And I'm going to enumerate the things that it was in my time, and then, of course, later on it was the tea room, which was all important. That and the Opera House and the Hotel WWII were buildings that were very important to this town at the time. The city itself was located beautifully as far as transportation. I mentioned this in one of the articles that I wrote for the weekly, that we had people coming in and leaving, of course, by boat from Philadelphia twice a day. And we had 8 trains a day that you could take from here and go all the way to Norfolk, or you could go all the way to Penn Station, right from the station. However, I'll start with the courthouse first. I have to use my glasses. The courthouse, what I remember, between 1912 and 1988, when I moved from here over to where we're living now, the country house, it was the post office. The last room on that end was the post office. It was the drill hall for Company H. And twice a week you could come here and these doors were open. And believe it or not, you could see the soldiers drilling here, which was fascinating for kids at any age to watch the militia. Then it was the jail house right beyond here. And during the Great War, 1914, 1916, 15, it was the Red Cross headquarters. And 2 nights of the week, and later on, oftener than that, it was the place where women particularly came here and rolled bandages, or believe it or not, that were sent all at that time to Europe, and later on to our own outlets for bandages and whatever was needed. Right here, those women made their own costumes and had on their headpieces were red crosses, which I wore my mother's for the next 20 years to Halloween parties. And you could come and bring your children if they were old enough to learn how to knit. And we made the awfulest looking things you've ever seen for the troops to wear around their shoulders, but they were accepted and settled on, weren't they? With the bandages. Those were just a few things that went on in the headquarters here. And in 1919, I went to the 7th grade on the 2nd floor in the next part of this building. It was used for many things, believe it or not, and it was the police headquarters and later the mayor's office. And at recess every year, the 7th grade year, we would come downstairs to see who had gotten elected over arrested over the weekend. He was the one and only policeman in this town. And let me tell you, that man did a land office service that was never asked of him when he became a policeman. He would go to the midnight train that came in and see if there was any soul who wanted him to walk them into town here. And when I was 13 years old and started to study voice in Philadelphia, I frequently had a chance to sing at something up there. And if my father couldn't meet me, he would call Mattie Tobin, and Mr. Tobin would come out here and bring me home. So this was a very important building, other than what it means and what it had meant when than when Woodrow Wilson came to this town and spoke from the steps of this, that we just entered this building on. That was a great time with every organization in the town, and there were many organizations in the town. You see, we were always filled with sailors, and right down below us was Fort DuPont. There were always people in uniform here. People coming in by boat and by train and by trolley car to do business with the people who had stores in this town. So it was much more important in a business